We have also been trying in humans some therapeutic materials which seem to be effective. Our diagnostics are reaching industrial level, and we have finalized the construction plans for the diagnostic factory. Construction should commence soon. On prevention, the tough measures we took limited the damage. Until the 8th of May, we have had 442,226 infections, 41,652 recoveries, and 346 deaths. Finally, I thank their excellencies that have honored us with their presence on this occasion. This is real brotherhood. We also appreciate the delegations that came from all the other countries. I need to express my concern to African brothers and sisters that are here and those that are not here, that the situation in a number of points in Africa does not give credit to the African people. The security situations in Libya, Mali, Niger, some parts of Nigeria, Chad, Central African Republic, some parts of Cameroon, Eastern Congo, Somalia, recently northern Mozambique, etc., must be addressed and can be addressed. First of all, the situation in Libya was created by the arrogant and irresponsible actions of some actors that took actions that were against the express position of the African Union. I can reveal to you that those actors had a narrow escape. When some actors started attacking Libya against the decision of the African Union, I contacted His Excellency Jacob Zuma of South Africa and proposed that African armies that so decided to intervene in Libya and confront and teach a lesson to those aggressors. We were let down by Muammar Gaddafi, who abandoned Tripoli without a fight. Although at that time I did not have direct link with Muammar Gaddafi, I advised his envoy, who came to see me here, to turn Tripoli into a Stalingrad. With H.E. Jacob Zuma, we had to work out a solution for the aircrafts and cruise missiles that some people use to attack defenseless people from far away, so that if the aggressors so wished, could come on the ground and we fight man to man. Such a confrontation would, of course, have been imposed on us unnecessarily. We have, since a long time ago, stated that the African patriots, like we in the NRM, are neither pro-West nor pro-East. We are first and foremost pro-Africa. Because there is something called Africa. When I came into government when we were still fighting, are you pro-East or pro-West? Idiot, I am pro-Africa. I cannot be here to be pro-others, but not pro myself. It is on account of that good friends should only deal with contentious strategic African issues via the African Union. Bypassing the African Union is not acceptable when it comes to dangerous strategic African issues. We have no interest in fighting anybody except poverty and underdevelopment in Africa, starting with Uganda. However, some actors are always in search of enemies. They are looking for enemies. You are not an enemy, they declare you an enemy. Okay, if you want to be an enemy, you can sort out issues. Our role there is to advise those who are advisable, but also do our patriotic duty if unavoidable. Unfortunately, the Libyans collapsed quickly. On account of that, much of Northwest Africa has been with security problems that were not there before. Libya, Chad, Mali, Niger, parts of Nigeria, Central African Republic, and Cameroon. Who is responsible for this hemorrhage? I hear people talking about accountability. Who is accountable for this suffering? Who caused all this? Of course, Muammar Gaddafi had his own problems. I had had the task of fighting him twice, 1972 and 1979, as he intervened in Uganda on the side of Idi Amin because Idi Amin was a Muslim. However, foreign armies attacking an African country against the express objection of the African Union is not a solution. The huge concomitant suffering of the Africans in Libya and the surrounding countries has proven that if any proof was needed, Africa can defend itself against any and all aggressors if we coordinate. In 1963, our leaders met in Addis Ababa. Only 36 of them that time, and declared that the rest of Africa must be freed peacefully or Africa would use force. This was in 1963. That time, some of the actors thought, and they seem to think now, that this was just idle talk. Exactly 11 years later, in 1974, the African armies of Mozambique, Angola, and Guinea-Bissau, supported by the courageous Mwalimu Nyerere, Kenneth Kaunda, Sekou Touré, Boumediene, Nasser, and briefly Nkrumah, and the socialist countries, had defeated the Portuguese African armies, totaling almost 200,000 soldiers. Just before this victory, there had been the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, where the Egyptian army put up a better performance and quite bled the Israelis before the latter crossed the canal and surrounded the Egyptian second and third armies in Suez and Port Said. The Israelis, badly needed resupplies by the USA. However, the USA had a problem because many of the European countries did not want to refuel the American transport planes in fear of the Arab anger. The Arabs had announced the 1973 oil boycott against those that they saw as their enemies. That left the Portuguese islands of the Azores. In the USA National Security Council meeting of 1974, the issue of using the Azores came up. Somebody in the meeting pointed out that Africans will be very annoyed. Henry Kissinger, who was said to be a clever man, is said to have said that African anger does not matter because they have no capacity to enforce it. Exactly 5 months from the date of that meeting, the Africans who did not matter defeated the Portuguese who mattered. I'm told Kissinger is still alive. It would be good for his record if he cleared this allegation. It is up to us to show all and sundry that we matter and we have the capacity. We defeated the Islamic hoodlums in Somalia. When we went to Somalia, these idiots were calling us kafiri, that we are kafiris. Yes, we are kafiris, but this is our land. If you don't want to be in the land of the kafiri, go to Pakistan or to other places where you come from. This is our land. This is the land of the kafiris, the land of those Christians, land of Muslims, which is our land. So if you bring your rubbish, we deal with you, like we did with those idiots in Somalia. We defeated the racist whites in Southern Africa. We can defend Africa if we act together and act right. Back to Uganda now. The elections are over. Akaruru kagwa banange. Let us get down to work. The 4 economic sectors where there are jobs and wealth are commercial agriculture, Emu, with the Chibaro, Chura, Aymar, Otita, counting profitability, industries, services, and ICT. With your individual savings, collective savings by groups, borrowing from banks, or with government support, you should enter one or more of these sectors so as to chase poverty from your homesteads, create wealth and jobs for some of your family and also for others. I thank you and I wish you good luck.
Your Excellency, indeed, you are a God-sent leader to Uganda. And to prove this, for the last 2 or so many days, it has been raining cats and dogs. But today, even the rains decided to hold to see this function a success. Your Excellency, sir, as we move on to the second last item on our program, allow me to introduce a delegation from the Pan-African-led Women's Organization, led by their Excellencies Eunice Ipinge from Namibia, Dlamini Bathabele from South Africa, Sakilin Kama from Mali, Dr. Honorable Susan Kolimba from Tanzania, Tessa Ntashalikati from Eswatini, and Grace Kabayo from Uganda. Your Excellency, allow me present two cultural groups to entertain you and your guests. And amongst the groups, I want to invite a young girl, aged 12 years, and called Esther Adieyo Kelo, to recite a poem entitled Celebrating a Dependable Leader. Esther, please, come over. As Esther comes over, Your Excellency, I want to introduce to you the director of ceremony of this function and the co-directors of ceremonies. The director of ceremony is none other than Esther Ambayo, the woman member of parliament elect, Luka district. We also have Brigadier General Flavia Biekwaso. These are the co-directors. We also have Colonel Pade Ankunda. And lastly, we have Madame Alice Muanguzi. Esther, over to you.
Your Excellency, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the First Lady, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, Excellencies, Heads of State and Governments, fellow humanity, good afternoon. Your Excellency, President Museveni, I am Esther Ajek Okelo. I come from Namukora Sub-County, Chua East, Kitgum District. I am a granddaughter of the late President General Tito Okello Lutwa and a primary 6 pupil at Green Hill Academy. Your Excellency, your magnanimous heart resulted in your reconciliation with my late grandfather, General Tito Okello Lutwa. Your Excellency, we thank you for you never persecuted or had assassinated any of the past leaders of Uganda. It is well known that assassinating your political opponents has never been in your vocabulary and practice. That is why you have been able, and you are still able, to work with their children, grandchildren, and close associates. We thank you for this exceptional heart which God gave you. Therefore, Your Excellency, it is because of your reconciliatory heart that I, the granddaughter of the late President General Tito Okello Lutwa, can stand before you at this historical moment. I am standing here when the whole world is watching as a testimony of your exemplary leadership to recite a poem in your honor. This poem is titled Celebrating a Dependable Leader. Today is the day that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. Rejoice for Muse Alaide. Lord, today Ugandans stand in reverence before you to rededicate your servant leader, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, to you. Your servant leader, who behaves not like the hired hand, we beseech your divine wisdom, protection, grace, and favor upon him and upon this great land. Lord, as we went to the ballot, we raise our voices to you, that through us you anoint a leader, best intention for the aspirations of the people of Uganda, a leader who would guide his people to secure their future. And Lord, through us Ugandans, your will was done. For like it is said, the voice of the people is the voice of God. Ugandans did not kick away the canoe, which helped them to cross the river. And thus, Lord, we are here to celebrate your will. Our people say, when the roots are deep, there is no need to fear the wind. Your Excellency, President Museveni, your leadership roots go deep, deep, deep. Musei, you have taken Uganda through the darkest nights. Therefore, fellow Ugandans, no wind would destabilize this land. The journey to socio-economic transformation, the journey to prosperity and peace, is a million-year march. Today, the country pauses to reflect on the 5-year speech of this long journey. The history of the human race is filled with intense tragedy and extraordinary inspiration. We are capable of building communities, nations, and civilizations that nurture, transform, and empower. But unfortunately, we are also capable of sustaining insecurity, poverty, disaster, and distress. It all depends on the shepherd at that time, the leader at that time. At a time of great challenges coming from the world and humanity, like HIV, AIDS, Ebola, COVID-19, locusts, floating islands, rising water levels, destruction of the environment, erosion of values, and unprecedented hate speech worldwide. We are here today to celebrate a shepherd who is willing to lead his people to a shared prosperity. A shepherd, easy in manner, yet solid as steel. A leader who God gifted with rare elastic patience. And as John Kabat-Zinn said, patience is a form of wisdom. It demonstrates that we understand and accept the fact that sometimes things must unfold in their own times. He positively changed the course of Uganda's history. He wrote a new chapter for the women of Uganda, the women who never featured as an item on the national agenda, the women who were any other business, if at all, on the national grid, the women who are now on a visible and on a steady road to meaningful, not cosmetic empowerment. A leader who is always striving to give the youth a good livelihood, focusing on job creation through a myriad of projects. To date, children of universal primary education sit in the August House. President Museveni has given a voice to the elderly and the disabled. The women, the youth, and the disabled now have a voice in parliament. We are celebrating a human being, not an angel. Did you hear me call him an angel? No. but it is right and fitting to call him an exceptional, exemplary leader. Here is a great Pan-Africanist, a man who never opens his mouth without mentioning how crucial it is for Africa to unite, for East Africa to unite, so that we can have a strong bargaining power and a strong market for our products. We are celebrating a leadership which talks and practices peaceful conflict resolution, a leader who has been instrumental in building regional and continental bridges of peace. He sends emissaries to grind millet, not to break the grinding stone. A leader, sower of mustard seed of stability, which has now grown into a huge oak tree, giving shelter to all Ugandans. He offered an olive branch and amnesty to those who fought to destabilize the country. And he has always embraced a broad-based outlook in government formation. A leader who always calls on board all Ugandans, irrespective of whether they have voted for him or not. A leader who knows that authority comes from God. God has a place in his life and calling. A leader whose rib, his better half, the First Lady, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, is God-fearing, cool, measured, knowledgeable, is always by his side as an anchor. The rib herself, a leader in her own right, giving testimony to the biblical, he who finds a good wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. Seated at the helm of power are these two children of the Christian revival movement, both walking the talk. Like Abraham Lincoln put it, I walk slowly, but I never walk backward. There are still some gaps and challenges in so many areas, but this leadership has taken an appreciable giant stride. Today, you can travel on tarmac from the most southern tip to the most northern tip in the country. The country is connected. The oil pipeline running from Uganda to Tanzania is on us. Our land of Canaan is in sight. The story of national resistance movement achievements is too long to be condensed in a few lines. Today and always, Uganda's story must be told. Africa has the opportunity to reposition herself as the cradle of transformation, innovation, and peace. Your Excellency, President Museveni, Ladit Lobo, Omukulembeze, Chiongozi, Omwebembezi, Afande, Mzee. May this time be one inspired by African aspirations and our value systems of integrity, transparency, honesty, unity, and the spirit of Ubuntu. We are the people of the Great Lakes and the cradle of Africa. We are the leaders of our own transformation and will inspire the world for a unified, secure future. For God and my country. This poem was written by Honorable Mary Karoro Okurut. Thank you.
Thank you, Esther, for that wonderful poem. And I want to invite crane performers to give us one vibe as we tend towards the end of our function. Let's crane performers, that is enough. Crane performers, that is enough, please. Let's all stand. Let's all stand to singing the national anthems in a reverse order. But departure will also